Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the
Weekly
WAYPN. I'm Cam.
And I'm Sunny.
aka
Henry and Sangita.
Also, we have to say Happy Deepavali!
Yes, Happy Deepavali, everybody.
But hopefully it will be out before Deepavali, this one.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, it doesn't take me too long to...
We will see.
Yeah,
So we have a big one this week, and we're starting off with one of our new members. Alright, so Sebastian, last name I can't say. Can you save me here and actually read the text?
Okay, finally had time to... his name. I think it's Sebastian Sanabria J. Pang.
Yeah, the J. Pang I can get.
Yeah, but the in between one, yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting name. Haven't heard that before, but yeah. Finally had time to finish my Dreadnought. Really happy with the result, and I think I have the concept for my Space Marine army all figured out. I still want to give him some more details and a free hand on the chapter icon. Enjoy. Very nice.
Alright, let's take a look. So, because we haven't gotten any comment here, given your level of detail that you've put into this, we're going to believe that you're going for character level. So we have 3 different levels that we, give critiques for. Tabletop, which is people who just want their stuff done
for the tabletop game.
Yep, and done and playing as quick as possible. Then there's people who want to do their level best, but they're not trying to win awards. And then there's people who are trying to win awards.
Or like display level stuff. So you're there to show off the fullest extent of your skills, pushing beyond your own limits.
Yeah, so let's take a look. So we think you're in that middle category. Let's try and look a little closer on some of these, because I really do like the
the plasma, right?
Yeah,
I like that, the way he's done the lighting on that.
Yes, it does look very good.
Yeah, it's my first time seeing a yellow plasma light, but it's very nice.
Yeah, and I think there's nothing wrong with doing different things when it comes to that sort of thing. But when it comes to some of this, what I am going to say is some of the times, when it comes to some of these shots, they don't come out the best. That's why we're opening up in an additional tab, and we're going to take a little bit of a closer look. I like the book here. I think the book looks good.
Is this not librarium?
No, it's not.
Librarium, yeah.
I think that's a book that a lot of people have, which is from a Ravenwing upgrade sprue, but a lot of people end up grabbing it. Look, because it's more multi-use. Well, that looks nice there.
I think he used decals on that.
Yes. So, quite a bit going on here. But I'm going to take a look at some of these a lot closer. So, it looks like you might want to fix in post some of the lighting stuff so that it's easier to see. One of the big things that I'm noticing pop out at the moment, I see exactly how much work you've put into your plasma gun here, right? Which is a lot. It's definitely a feature, right? But do you see how you've got that
mold line?
Well, it's not a mold line. It's it's not glued together seamlessly. Right? It's stuff like that which can really trip you up. And I think even though you've done a really good job, if people are looking at it side on, it looks fantastic. But these are some of the things that we're going to point out. And we're not trying to have a go or anything, but we are pointing them out because some other people won't point them out. The chipping right here, I really like that chipping. The way that it sort of comes up and it's all grunged coming up. But some of the other of it, so you see how here, it looks a bit more like tide marks there and along there. You follow
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I do see. Yeah.
And like that's what you got to be careful with. You got to be careful about the difference. But that plasma glow is absolutely
really
beautiful. I really like the way that you've accentuated the sides. That looks really fantastic.
Yeah, it has that natural glow look to it, but maybe because it's yellow, and yellow tends to have that natural glow look to it. But you've done a really beautiful job with that darker middle, which really gives to that effect.
Yes. So also, I think another thing that you've done well is the decals on the skulls, where you've got the little Aquila on the skulls. I think that's come out well. That looks nice, but I think do maybe some of the same chipping, or rather, I should say, damage to those that you've got going with the skull.
I think
because it looks a little too perfect. Sorry?
No, sorry, because I'm taking a look at the chest area and the leg area.
Yeah.
Where you pointed out the pooling and such. I think that seems to be a bit of an intentional grunge.
Here, I think it looks intentional. I think it looks good, right? But I'm talking about like right here. See here?
Yeah.
This one there.
Yeah.
Right? Things like that. And that's the difference that I'm talking about. And along here, you'll see it when we go to the front. Right, so we're on the other side. So like here.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Right? Because like that chipping around there, around the sort of, I guess, upper knuckle.
Knuckle, yeah.
If you're going to call it anything, I think that looks nice, but down there, not as much. And see, I think in some areas he's done it really well, in other areas not so much. So like here, the stain goes a bit too far, and I don't think it's as good. But when you've got like that stain pressed into down here at the back, right, and you've got that sort of weathering coming in, I think that looks good. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I can see what you mean. It's a bit jarring, just that one little pooling.
Yeah, that bit right there, yeah. So, right here, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, because that's a smooth surface. Like on the smooth surfaces, you have to be a bit sort of careful about where sometimes it does not look intentional, yeah.
And so, like, and there's other things which you could transfer from certain areas where different sort of scratches would happen. So, for example, see this right here? That would be great right down there. See how you've got that scratches coming through? Right? Those scratches, like, they're good. They're good. They're not bad. They're good. But I think that kind of effect along here would make more sense, right? And would help with the sort of realism of the model. I know that you are going for a gritty look, but do you follow what I'm saying, or are you a bit
lost on what you're talking about? Yeah.
Okay, so you see this chipping up here.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That chipping would be better off down there.
But because the surface is already black, would it not show?
So what you are going to have to do is you're going to have to do some of that scratching and such, and then the chipping. Because that area down near the shin is going to be worn a lot more.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I understand that.
Yeah.
Agree.
But also, I think the way that you've done the text decals is really good. But if you're going to do the text decals on some of those parchment papers, you should try really hard to get it on all of them. Because I think that... I don't think we've got it... Let's take a look right here. So these look absolutely fantastic, right? But see, then you've got these ones with just no lines.
There seems to be something in there.
No, if we take a look at here.
Okay, yeah, these ones don't have any text.
And you can see it more clearly there.
Oh, there, that one looks like it's got text, yeah.
No, it doesn't have text. It's got nothing.
No, but it looks like it does have some sort of dash stuff.
But yeah, see, and that's what I'm saying, right? Like, here, great, fantastic. Like the little skull decals, great, fantastic. This down here, great, fantastic. Really love how it's looking. You know, it's really popping off, right? Also, great color choices. I like the that it's a all warm model.
Oh yeah, like a all warm tone, yeah.
Yeah.
Like when I saw this, I thought of like the concept that you were telling me about for when we wanted to do our Gallo Dark terrain of doing that beige, industrial beige.
Yeah.
It really looks like that. Like he's done a nod to that industrial beige color.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Alright, so so here we're taking a look at some more of that grittiness, that griminess. I think that comes up really good. And down here, absolutely fantastic. And then those tide marks up there, not so much. This, absolutely beautiful. Just beautiful, right? And once again, you want those seamless lines because like that line really takes away from a lot of your hard work. And trust me, I know. It seems pedantic, and it is pedantic. But we're trying to tell you the things that other people won't tell you. Mm-hmm. Right? So we think that you've done an absolutely fantastic job.
Yeah.
Right? What do we think he's done well?
We think he's done the plasma gun very well. He's done the decaling very well. Some of the detail work is very well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some parts would be like the pooling that would need to be worked on.
So this is what needs to be improved, is what you're saying? Yeah,
this one needs to be...
say that.
So this, the pooling could be improved.
Yeah.
And then the chipping on some areas.
Well, I think the chipping was good, but it was more the scratches down here, and like apply the chipping more consistently. So I think it was really good. Everything that Sunny said, I think you did really well. I think you did very well with the basing. Like it's seamless, the integration, the basing of this, right? It doesn't pull away from the model, but nor does it make the model feel alien. So I think you've done really well. All right, so that's the review.
Last week's review, yes.
And then next up, we've got Lance. Lance is doing up some terrain.
It looks like another Blood Bowl bridge, is it?
No. Unfortunately, the computer is having a hissy fit.
Okay, working on terrain for use with a bridge or as a ford. We'll be doing some washes and weathering on the bridge and considering shrubs for the bank pieces.
Alright, let's take a look at what we've got. Hopefully. Alright, so here's the bridge. Here's some of the bank pieces. So I think he's done really well with adding a lot of variety to the stuff so that it's like there's something to look at there. It's not and it's a nice sort of combination of colors. So you got the green and the oranges and the yellows. Just something vibrant to pop off the rocks. Also, I like the way that he's done the rocks. The rocks look very nice, you know, like because this is obviously styrofoam, but he's worked hard to integrate it.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I didn't know that was styrofoam.
Well, see, I can tell that this is styrofoam, and then I think up here he's got some cork, right? And so he's worked really hard to integrate the different types of materials he's using so that it doesn't look obvious that it's one kind of material and not another. And
okay.
So I think,
it's looking cool, really cool.
And this is just his work in progress, so we will see more done on this soon.
So
some more terrain pieces. So this one, I didn't think he did as well as the previous, primarily because of the material. I think he used expanding foam here and then cut into it.
I quite like this. It looks like a very natural rock.
Does it to you?
Yeah, like the previous one, I feel the way that it was cut, it didn't really feel as natural as this one.
Okay.
In my opinion,
Well, there we go. We have some disagreement on it. But I do think you should do the balloon trick.
What's a balloon trick?
Remember we saw it where you get a fluffy sweater and you buy a balloon
And you blow the balloon and
up.
just rub it on the sweater until it builds static. And then you just run the balloon hover over the static grass.
Yeah.
And you don't need a special static applicator thing.
Yeah, because those things can be a bit of a pain. I got shocked by one of them the other day.
Yeah. Well, it is static grass, so obviously it just needs static to rise. So that's just a very quick, simple, cheaper way to do it. No big brains required.
All right. And next up, we have
Jose.
Jojo.
WAYPN name.
Right.
I've done a little building and airbrushing this week. I need to paint 16 more models this year to hit my goal. If I do this lot, I just need 2 more. Unless Kingdom Death get their next shipment out early, then I need 10 more. Well, I do hope you get your goal done for this year, Joseph. Rooting for you, my man.
Well, I mean, like, the thing is, Joseph is the guy who gets most of this stuff done.
Yeah.
And we will see some more done.
Oh, Cal. Yes.
So these are from his Oathmark stuff. I have to say these Oathmarked ones look pretty good. Like, I've liked the Oathmark models thus far. So, hold up. So,
Skeletons or ghouls kit bashed from Oathmark skeleton with bits from Frostgrave Cultist's box.
Okay, cool. So let's take a look at what we've got here. Oh, okay, so those are the cultist heads. Those bits right there.
Oh, okay. Ah, right. Oh, I like what he's done with the Tesseract glow.
I'm not sure it's Tesseract glow, but yeah, it is. It does look interesting. But I think, once again, we need some more stuff on the base. Cal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does look very plain. That's why it looks like a sleek mud marble.
A mud marble.
It does look like mud if it were.
Yeah, but...
like marble if it were mud.
But these are the classic kind of skeletons that I like, where they're just skeletons. And, like, doing them up, because... in the old days, you'd have to do up something like 100 skeletons for an army.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's a lot.
Well, because skeletons were a bulk force, so you'd have, like, lots of skeletons and zombies.
But they're not too difficult to paint up just because, like, they're literally all just one thing. Yeah. One color. You just paint and dry brush.
But Games Workshop has made them very, very complicated now, which makes it...
because they need something to sell.
Yes, but I do think that these are looking good. I think that the basing could use a little work. I like what you've done with these ones with the glow. I think that the cultist change makes them unique enough. I do think that some of them feel a bit plain with the little bits of flesh hanging off them. But I think what would really change that is just doing up some of the basing.
Oh, yeah, it'll just add to the final... cohesion of the piece. Bring it all together.
Alright, next up we've got Andy.
Yes. Mr. Yellow Cape Man.
Alright.
Little bit of an odd one. I'm at a painting workshop this weekend and today was worn leather and a fabric or cloak. So decided to try and push myself with a yellow cloak. Pleased with the result and looking forward to see what we're going to do tomorrow. Yeah, like, you know.
Let's take a look.
It's such a great yellow cloak. Oh, you've got some leather pouch.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about the leather pouch. Like, I think
it's like a one.
Yeah.
So the underlayer is showing. And
so, like, the reason why I'm not sure about it, right, is a lot of what I'll do with one leather sort of thing is I'll just do some cuts and strokes and that sort of thing and sort of then be done with it. Because I take a look at this and I see all of those little dots and marks and so on and that sort of thing, right? And I just wonder how much time that took. Because
it looks almost like a splatter effect with the brush.
No, I don't think so, because he's got those strokes there along the sides, which seem a lot more deliberate. They meaning to look like stress marks and that sort of thing. And this is why I'm sort of in love with certain effects and stuff like that, where you just get exactly what you want right off the thing.
Right.
I don't think that this looks bad, but I just wonder how long some of this took. And, like, because we know we know that he puts a lot into his minis, right? But the question is there a faster technique to get the same result?
There probably is, but I think this is just another one of those things where it's an effect that works well for showcase and display models, because like a regular character level or tabletop game, people won't spend the time.
I understand that, but it's the same thing. I think that the fabric has come up a lot better, and it feels a lot more like fabric. So you see along there how you've got those slight inconsistencies along there to give it that fabric look.
Yeah.
I think that looks good.
It's so nice. It's a beautiful yellow cloak. Beautiful yellow cloak.
Well, beyond saying beautiful yellow cloak, do you want to try and give him some helpful feedback?
Well, I think he's done the edge highlighting or just highlighting in general very nicely. Good choice of the base color and a nice sort of sunshine yellow for the highlight. And I know that doing cloaks in this fashion can be quite difficult. So I think you pulled it off very well.
Yeah.
And that shadow is so natural that I thought that it was the natural
shadow right there.
Yeah, like that's cast from the model's form, but it seems that it's painted.
Yeah. So I think that shadow is really good right there.
Yeah.
And see, this, I can get a lot more out of it, and I can go, all right, I get it, because here's the thing when it comes to this, right? If you're going to have models with a lot of fabric, right? Generally, you'll have wizards, all of these sorts of people where there's going to be long bits of flowing fabric, and you can really show your painting chops and people can appreciate it and stuff like that, right?
Okay. So, shall we move on?
Yeah, we will. But the one thing that I wanted to say with it was, that's why I appreciate the fabric more than I do the leather.
Oh, yeah.
Because, with the leather, I'm like, all right, I try and do that quickly because it's the leather pouches are always
small?
So...
Yeah, it's small. It's not the eye-catching piece that people are looking at. Yeah, I get what you're saying there.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so next up, we've got Ron Purvis with some more salamanders.
More salamanders.
So the first thing that stands out to me is that it seems like there's not a whole lot of tonal variation.
Yeah. It is just looks like a blob of red. Yeah, I understand.
And I know that he's put work into each of these things and so on, and that's why I want to say that, because even if it's just some of these big, iconography bits or stuff like that, or the weapons, paint them a different color.
Yeah, and I think because the base being the largest surface area here, it sort of blends right in with the red of the characters, and perhaps I think he was going for a bloodied carnage.
No, because see in there I can see it. It's those same green. Lava ones.
Oh, lava ones.
The lava ones that we've been seeing for a while.
But perhaps this red is just too
close.
It is too close, as you can see from the picture. But maybe you need a brighter, red orange for the base or something.
No, I don't think the base is the problem. I think that actually doing a lot more accent work. So see with the yellow here, right? It just blends in too much. I would put some greens, some blues, something like that, something to contrast with it, so that you can highlight the forms of each of these things.
Yeah, and the blades are also red as well. So
that's what I was saying. Yeah,
that could be metal, maybe just straight steel if you like. Yeah.
So, I think that the painting's fine. There's nothing technically wrong with it.
It's just too red. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Jojo and his cat lady.
Oh, what is happening? Okay. If we could stop, please. Nope. No. Are you gonna stop? No. You're gonna act the fool. Okay. All right. I'm just gonna pause for a minute, folks. And we are back, folks. Sorry, it seemed that Facebook wanted to act the fool. When does it not?
Yeah. Well, let's read what it said. Neko Twilight Night all done. 15 more models to go.
Yep. And I think that this is honestly some of Joseph's best work.
Joseph wasn't as keen on the way he did the lantern this time around,
thought
but
the
I thought it
lantern
was
looked
beautiful. It almost has a glass-like effect.
Yeah.
And I told him that it came out really nice. But he thinks that his previous square lanterns were better than this one.
So I think that the eyes are done quite well. Just as the dark shadows.
Yeah.
I think that came out way better than some of his goofy eyes have in the past. Right? But also, like, the way he's done the skin with the butt and the waist, right? I think he's really done outstandingly well with the skin work.
Yes.
And the other thing is, like, take a look at how subtle some of the lighting is there, right? Like, you see that slight yellow there?
Yeah.
Just absolutely fantastic. It's nothing crazy, and, like, that's the best part of it. And see, just, like, the subtle lighting right there, like, on the breasts, like, I think that looks really good. And I think this is some of his best work. And, like, just really nice skin work, right? The clothes have come up really well. What little there are.
Yeah, I know.
But, like, I think even the hair, right? Like, that cream white.
Yeah.
Has just come out really nice.
Yes, exactly. What do we think of the gold work this time?
I think that the gold work's vastly improved over his past gold work. See how he's got the highlights here and that sort of thing. I think... Yeah, like, this is probably been one of the best Kingdom Death models he's done up in the past month or so.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah. I
thought his previous Kingdom Death models with the family,
and it's the exact same thing as I said last time. I think, like, the fabric work, the skin work, the clothing, the hair, all of that was really good, but then it was let down by the eyes. And see, the eyes here, I think that, like, he's gone for his white eye sort of thing, right? But the eyes, like, are so, like, taken over by the black that it just looks like
a shadow.
I think that looks much better for him. And, like, if he's going with the synthetic brushes, you know, that's going to make things more difficult. So I think this has been some of his best work thus far. And it's just the eyes, like, look how much, once the eyes were an issue, we saw the rest of the model.
Yeah, exactly. But it is easy to, spot the mistake than it is to everything else when it looks really good.
So I think this is the issue, right? So take a look at this guy, right? Now, last of the salamanders onto a new army. See how you can see that middle part of the base?
Yeah.
Right? You can see that middle part of the base. You've got all of this gold going on, right? Which is essentially just a yellow, right? But you've got these little blue
and green or whatever.
Teal.
Yeah.
Bits, like, and the sword is black. There's so much more readability with this model than there is with that block of lizard men.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, and see, I think that is one of the big things. I think this guy looks so much better than his troops, but not necessarily because the troops were painted badly, but it's just because of colour choice.
Yeah, too much of one colour.
Yeah. All right, so next up, we've got some more works in progress from Joseph, and we see them coming along. And I tell you what, you see how much, like, just getting your blocking done changes the look and feel of things.
Yes. I mean, look at that base. The one with the, what is that, golden eye?
Yeah, I think it's some, I'm not sure what that is, but we will probably see it finished up before the end of the week.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to double check.
It kind of already looks done at this stage.
Yeah, I'm going to double check that we are recording. Alright, so next up, we got Member Monday, and of course, as every Member Monday turns out, we have the new people start posting their stuff in the Member Monday area.
Yeah, you guys are meant to make our own post.
Yes. But we will have, hopefully, if Facebook doesn't want to act the fool, which of course it does. Okay, there we go. So everything's loaded all at once now. Nothing is. You know what we're going to do?
We're gonna stop.
Oh, no. I clicked the button and now it will turn off.
Oh, okay. Good.
Are you... Okay. Let's try this one more time. I'm going to view more comments. But we're going to... No, you don't want me to do that? Alright, I'm going to... No. View more comments. God, I hate YouTube.
This is not YouTube.
It's not YouTube.
It's
Facebook. Can't blame... so this is something Dave was doing. And I think...
Wow.
Yeah, so this...
Oh, the elephants on the bottom.
Yeah, no, it's the Terry Pratchett Discworld thing. And I think it's come up really well. I
love the detailing on that the turtle.
Yes. I think that the turtles come up really well. I don't think the elephants are as detailed, but that's okay because I don't think that they're the feature of it.
Yeah. Plus, you can't see them under that disc until you see it.
Yeah, exactly.
On the side.
Whereas you can see the turtle from top to bottom. It's turtles all the way down.
I call this the world turtle just because it sounds nicer.
I do believe that's what it's called in the actual books.
Did he call it a space turtle?
I might have called it space turtle. But yeah, so there's I really like the way that he's done the water and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's about all I've got to say for it because it looks very much like a map.
It looks like something out of a fancy encyclopedia.
Yes, I guess that is where maps are found in fancy encyclopedias.
Oh yeah, it does look like one of those artistic maps.
I think it looks really good. But I think Dave should put up an actual post and get some more love because a lot of the time people skip this.
But see, everyone's posting in here.
Yes, but Brandon did, to be fair, make a post for this one, which is great. So we'll continue on with it. And the only thing I want to say is, make a post!
Make a post, everybody!
Yes, make a post.
Okay, and now we have Cal again with Lost Souls for Idols of Torment. So I am assuming these are like stone statues? Like
Medusa? Not quite. So these are souls that have arrived in hell and no faction has claimed them yet.
Oh, are they meant to be claimed?
Yeah, they're
in hell?
Yes, essentially they're the resource of the game. These are the poor people who are going to be captured by the various factions of hell.
Ah, that's sad.
Yes, that is sad. But I think
that's a good choice for why he's done it the way that he's done it. Mm-hmm. Because it's like a neutral, because they're all grey, they're neutral, no side has been chosen yet.
Yes.
So it's a good way of doing it. Ooh, a kettle.
Do you want to go grab the...
Yeah, I'm not sure. She'll just be screaming endlessly anyway.
Yes.
Until we let her in.
But it is their inside time, so... Alright, so... I think that they look good, but for me, I would like something else from them. I know exactly what they're meant to be. I know that they're meant to be a resource and that sort of thing. But... Unfortunately, I think, like, the ground is the exact same colour as them, which makes...
Oh, okay, yeah. I think if you did more like that red lava thing,
that
would work out a lot better.
Just something different. They just look too...
Samey.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And I think that would really make the models themselves stand out.
Or if you wanted to do like some lighting effect, like hard lighting effect on the model, where you have like red bottom lit lighting, but I think that's a bit too much.
Yeah,
it will look
see what
cool.
you're saying.
As for tabletop is what I mean.
Yeah, or you could flood like the eyes and mouths with like a color like say blue or red.
Or something. Yeah, and the eyes are like the glowing from the inside. Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Just something extra. I think they just need that one extra bit.
All right. Yes.
So,
Henry keeps complimenting my lanterns in the review video, so I thought I'd put together a quick guide for... Yay, guide! Lanterns can seem tricky, but this is a really quick and easy and requires no skill. If you want more pics or anything, I may have 50 plus more lanterns awaiting painting over the next few months. Feel free to ask questions, instructions on individual pictures. This is all based on a YouTube video I watched. Unfortunately, it's all recorded at high speed. There's enough frames missing so you can't slow it down to tell what she's really doing. This is my best guess interpretation of what she's doing. OSL timestamps. Oh, okay, so he's putting... Okay, right. Let's take a look.
All right, so I'm going to get you to read these ones out.
Number one, step one, undercoat white, light gray or another suitable color to enhance vibrancy later. Oh, that's a good tip. Okay, let's see what's next. Then you add a color. Number two, dry brush OSL VGC. I think that's Vallejo game color. 72 point, okay, what? Filthy brown, where the lanterns would shine. Used MP, not sure what MP is. 88 golden brown. Is this the golden brown? You can push the strength of the orange with VMC 72.008 orange fire. Or create a brighter spot with VMC sun yellow or P3 sulfuric yellow. You can add red to the outer edges with SC Aldebaran red. I used Cador red base. I just did the first dry brush on this piece. Extra steps are better for larger glows. Okay. Always dry brush only in the direction the light is shining, i.e. away from the lantern. Okay. So we've got like a sort of yellow tint on this side. Oh wait, sorry. Okay, this is the base for the lantern. Okay. Oh, now you add the base for the lantern. So number three, base coat the lantern with Vallejo hot orange. Go for a solid coat, but a little variation can add to a natural look. Very cool. So this is the color. Tostado, like a salsa. Number four, get a small old brush that's got a bit of a splayed end, I think is what he was trying to say. You want control, but you also want an irregular shape. Here's what I've been using. The end is smaller than any glass pane on the lanterns. Paint pot for scale. Paint pot. Okay. Number five. The yellow is painted with the scale 75 Soul Yellow or P3 Cygnus Yellow using that dry brush. Don't thin your paint. Don't dry brush. Don't regular brush. This is more like heavy stippling or sponging. Okay. Cool. Alright. Get some paint on the end of your dry brush and dab it once or twice on some kitchen towel. Remove just enough that you're in control of what comes off. Don't remove much. You still want to blotch over the undercolor. Don't brush, but dab this over most of the orange, leaving a band visible at the top and bottom. You might want two coats. That's up to you. This should be irregular and uneven. If bits small of orange show through, then that's just how fire burns. Right. Now as for the... I see what he means by that sort of little splotching effect. Yeah, that's cool. Number 6. Next, add a little white to the yellow until it's an off-white. Repeat the above, but in the middle of the yellow band. One coat should be enough. If you want, do a final coat with pure white. I suggest getting an even smaller brush, probably a normal brush that's lost its usefulness. I did not do this here. Yeah, he just sort of stopped at that bright yellow.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
And then he just paints in the rest.
Paint the metal, paint it black, then gently dry brush it with enough iron for the edges to look worn in places. Give it a slight metallic black feel. The dominant color remains black. Let the light spill over the edges. That's what would happen in real life, and it stops you accidentally getting black where you don't want it. Okay. But yeah, I can see how you've got that sort of flickering light lamp looking through a glass effect. Through that sort of just goes splotchy like that. It's very nice. Very nice.
So, Sunny's being sent away because she always criticises me, except she doesn't. She just says that everything I do is wonderful. So, essentially, I've been doing this terrain project for what looks like forever, but it's only been a week or so. We washed them, we've cleaned them, and now we're just putting the... So right here, I put, what's that stuff called? The
masking fluid.
Masking fluid on there so that I can take that off and I get some clean connections when I use the plastic glue in that area.
Yeah, and because as you can see, this terrain is very, very highly detailed and puny details everywhere. We thought against doing the old blue tack masking method.
Yeah.
Because it might get trapped in all the...
Yeah, so we're gonna have a go with the masking fluid.
Yeah.
But we'll see how we go. Because that could be as much a problem as anything else.
Yeah. I've never used it before.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Ooh. It's Ron with his Hydra.
The
forces of nature. Yes, it's definitely very green.
Yeah, so...
Very nature.
I think I look at this and I'd want a bit of a different colour for the horns.
Oh, those are horns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that until you pointed out.
I do really like the rock because it contrasts well against the Hydra.
Yeah, you could do a nice bone colour for the horns.
Yeah, I think a bone colour or a black.
Yeah, okay, but it depends on the Hydra. Is it meant to be like evil?
It's forces of nature, so it's meant to be natural.
Yeah, that's why I thought that a just regular bone colour would add to that effect of forces of nature. But yeah.
Alright. Okay, so next up we've got James. So James has been working on this one for a little while now. You want to read out?
Nemesis Lockdown. It has been a big project for me, and I'm finally finished painting all the minis from Nemesis Lockdown board game. Here are a number of pictures. I'm very happy with the finished product.
Okay, so I talked to him IRL, and he said that he wasn't satisfied with some of the skin. And here's something. This is for all of you guys. I know that some of the times people on the internet make people feel awkward, but guys, don't feel worried about saying different types of skin types. Say African, say black, say whatever, right, guys?
Yeah, okay.
All right, because
yeah, I know you need to describe skin tones.
Yeah.
And you know, people are made of different types of skin tones. Different races have different skin tones. And there's nothing wrong with saying the actual name of the ethnic races that you are trying to get down for the skin tone.
Yeah, because he's like saying, I didn't want to say, like yours.
Yeah, it's like nothing wrong with that. We exist. People exist.
And guys, honestly, it's... For us, we think it's a lot better to show respect to people by just going, saying it, and everybody stuffs up. Don't worry, we're cool.
Yes. Okay, so here we go.
We've got all of the little bone ones, right? Now I think that they've come up really well. This is one of the things that I do want to say about miniatures games. Board games in particular, right? Do you see how it's got those grey rims? Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like they'd look so much better if they were black rimmed.
Well, can't he just paint them black or?
I'm not sure whether he can or not because, you see how he's painted
some
these
of them
ones.
Are coloured, yeah.
Yeah, because those are for specific character models. Mm-hmm. So I think that the bones come up pretty well, right? I think that he definitely needs a photo booth so that we can see each of them individually.
I think I like the way he's done the flesh as well. It does look a lot like real muscle color.
I like the toxic goo as well.
Oh yeah, the toxic goo is very nice. But I do wonder if it's just the light or if there's a lack of highlighting on the flesh bits. But yeah.
So I think this guy's come up really well. So currently he's using speed paints.
Yeah.
And almost exclusively army painter paints. So I think that this guy's come up pretty well because there's an area which is, varied. You've got his little goo gun or whatever this is right here. I'm sure in the game it's something specific. But the thing is, we've got different colours. We've got his face exposed. Mm-hmm. We've got his boots and this sort of thing, right? Now, I'm sure that he's going just off the card here, right? But I feel like with this guy, how his faceplate right here is just the same as everything else. I feel like if that was a different color,
like a steel, like a silver or something,
chrome, a chrome would be perfect.
But chrome effect paint can be a bit for advanced to be used with. But I know what you're saying. But I think just a straight metal, like a really bright metal that Citadel has, would be just as good for that.
Yeah. I feel like I understand that he's probably following a model card and that sort of thing, but I think some of the times when it comes to these board game minis, you're just going to have to try and take some liberties because a lot of them,
because what works on the actual artwork will not be the same or will not be applicable on a 3D figure.
Yeah, because see, for that, this guy looks great. He looks absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that there's a similar level of skill applied to this guy, right? And I feel if you've got that face plate a different color,
it will really pop. Yeah, I do agree.
And there's. So it is just a straight contrast paint. I guess the other way you could try and do it is just get some of that solid green and just make it a single color, no variation.
Or maybe a bright green to contrast.
Yeah, but
different.
We do feel like the steel would be better. And this looks like some sort of console panel right here.
Yeah.
And just picking out little things like that will really help with guys like this where they're just
like
a
whatever
solid
accessories.
brick of color.
Whatever accessories that they have on, it's good to pick them out, especially on tabletop level, because that will just make everything readable. And that's pretty much the goal with tabletop.
This was the character he was talking about, and he was saying, I was hoping it to be more like an Indian skin color, more like a bit more peachy, not so... what would you call this? That's
it does look straight black from where I'm looking at it.
That.
Almost like she's wearing one of those jumpsuit masks.
Yeah.
The bodysuit that goes all the way up to your face.
Yeah.
That covers your face. It kind of looks like that at the moment.
I'm trying to remember. What's that tribe with the very dark skin?
Tribe with the very dark skin.
The African one.
I wouldn't know the name of the tribe.
You talked about it with the
Nubian.
Yeah, the Nubian.
Nubians. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a very sort of Nubian look. Now, if you wanted to bring this back and try again, what I would really try and do is, one, I might try just starting again with the model. And I can see why you might, because with this one, the white is always going to be difficult, especially when you're used to dealing with speed paints.
Okay. What's wrong with the speed paint and white?
So take a look right here.
Yeah, I do see the very heavy pulling there.
Yeah, and that's what I would say. See how it's all sort of gotten in there?
It is very difficult to control, contrast / speed paints.
Well, I think I think there's certain formulations which just don't work well. Remember how Games Workshop had to completely reformulate their Apothecary White, they kept it out there, but essentially Soul Blight Grey.
Soul Blight Grey, yeah.
I think has sort of taken that thing's position.
Okay.
And I feel like you could spray this whole thing white, right? And then say put on the skin here Oh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. Duraki flesh. You know how there's Gilliman flesh? They've all got stupid
they're
names.
gonna some name. Like if you tell me the name, I probably will not know the color unless it's like, how did I use the gut reaper?
Gut reaper flesh.
Gut ripper, but yeah.
But yeah, so I reckon like you could probably go again with this one. I think like all of these other ones, like I think have come up so much better because like you've got great color contrast, right? You've got the white here. The white here looks good contrast against the red, right? You got the boots done up nicely. You got the leather done up nicely. So for the blonde hair is quite yellow. And
yeah, but it still reads as like a natural blonde.
Yeah,
I think it's not like one of those straight bright yellows, so it still works. I think.
It's just like if you're gonna do a blonde, you really just want to do the sandy sort of colors, the bone sort of colors.
Yeah,
rather than yellows.
I understand what you're saying, but in this case, I think this blonde color works. There are some people who are quite on that sort of yellow blonde scale. I don't think it's entirely for this model. It doesn't look entirely bad, no.
You know, I look at this model, right? It's painted fine. Everything's fine with it. But I look at its gun thing, right? And it looks like she's holding like the pistol of like a giant or something.
Yeah, it is huge. It's massive.
I don't know what it's meant to be, but yeah, I think that the colouring has come up nicely. But I can see why he's a bit worried about that there, because I guess for me, if I was going to do it, I think like stripping isn't necessarily bad. I don't think it's as bad as he maybe thought it looked. And I think like that slight glow that's come out of it does look good. You know?
Okay.
But like I can see why he was frustrated by it. But I look at all of these models and nothing is bad. Everything is readable.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And like that's what we say a minimum goal requirement for
tabletop. Yeah, it is just so that all the things are readable. And I think something that sometimes tabletop painters forget is that the most important thing is to creating contrast.
Yeah.
Really. It could be contrast of color, it could be contrast of kind. But contrast is really what sets things apart and creates readability in a model. So that's just something to think about. And accessories, sometimes it just becomes like a one color thing.
Yeah.
And accessories just get forgotten. And I think that is what really sort of makes a model look too plain and not interesting. So picking out the details on that will help a lot. And even if you don't do too much detail work specifically.
Here, that is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, see, that's very nice.
See, he's got like little goggles, he's got his metal bit here, right?
And then
he's got
like
his hands down here.
Yeah.
He's holding something there. We've got his pants down here. He's got some sort of coat and he's got his boots, right?
And you can tell what each and every one of these items are on the model. If they were all the same color, you wouldn't know.
And that's exactly what we were talking about here, right? So like she definitely 100% beats green guy over here, right? Because green guy over here, like I said, there's nothing wrong with the painting or the execution, right? And he's probably following the card, but just that solid block of green just makes it so that
there are details on the model that people cannot appreciate as much because it's just lost in the green.
So I think, James, for your big growth for your next thing is use the cards as inspiration,
not as a rule.
Yeah, because like I remember how you was talking about the goo and this sort of thing, and I've had people talk to me about like I want to get it exactly like the thing, right? And I can see with board games especially, you want it to look like the card so that people can look at that and they go, oh this thing is that thing. Yeah, and like I actually think that the Gribblies have come together really well. Like that color consistency, you can immediately identify what everything is here, right?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing there where you go, oh well, which are the which and which are the that. So here's what I will say: you've done well. You've done really well with this color scheme. I think that that's come together well.
I think the flesh was done nicely. You've done a nice goo.
Yep.
And, you've seemed to have made most of the models read really well by picking out the details. And the only thing I think you could improve on is the green man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
if you want to try again with her, we can have a chat and we'll figure things out with her. Because I think if you want to go again with her, I think probably stripping is the best idea.
If it were me, but to be fair, this is me coming from someone who has done painting for a very long time. How I usually fix something like this is really just go either paint over that black with something like just whatever dark base color that you want to go for, a dark brown or something, or you just start highlighting her skin with different tones of brown, and the black parts just leave it at the rims to create shadow. So that would be the easiest and quickest way of doing it. But whether or not you have the confidence to be able to apply I'm
not sure it's an issue of confidence with James. I think that the greater majority of his paints are speed paints.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So
I'm just saying that would be the easiest way, in my opinion. Easiest and quickest way, rather than strip and redo everything.
Yeah, but I think it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. This guy,
just a steel.
Just a steel. And I reckon that's it. I think, but here's the big thing. I think that you've done really well, especially coming into something, right, and just going, look, I'm new to all of this. I'm going to jump in with both feet.
Yeah.
That is really the WAYPN way, because when it comes down to it, there is so much that can go wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel really self-conscious about things, and that's why we said at the start, don't feel self-conscious about your stuff, right? We're
all here to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And we're not gonna judge you for foibling your words. If you hurl abuse at someone, that's a different story. But I think you did a great job, James.
Yes. Okay. Brandon says, not actually painting, but this is the beginning of my own Space Marine chapter. I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I can say that. Der Schnellstrom.
Oh, yeah. So, I think it was Speed Force or something in German. I looked it up. Yeah.
Der Schnellstrom. I think that's how it's said. Anyway, further customization will be done each of these. Part of my chapter's aesthetic is these ribbons they wrap around themselves. There are basically medals for showing exceptional skill during their unique favorite pastime of sky jousting. Basically a level 1? 1v1 sparring match, but with the jump packs. First to touch the ground loses.
I see. Well, that's an interesting Space Marine culture that you've developed there. So let's take a look at what's
sky jousting, eh?
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
That sounds so scary.
I like how he's used the pins here to create that flow there. And I see how he's got the green stuff going around.
Oh, the pins are there to keep the sort of folds in place.
Yeah, because once they dry, they'll have that plastic memory and they'll set that way.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So the only thing I look at, the only thing which I could say negatively at all, is have you considered using a different material?
What other material would they use?
So actual cloth with, for example, trying to remember the name of it, just a PVA mixture.
Oh, okay, yeah, that could do a trick, yeah.
And that way you can
strips of burlap or something.
No,
canvas?
not canvas. So usually actual material.
Actual material.
Yeah, like what your shirt.
Oh, like shirt. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
whatever,
and
an old T-shirt or something, and cut up in strips.
Yeah.
Dip them in the Mod Podge water mixture. And then
it would have hardly any water. But the only reason I say that is because I take a look at this And I know how much effort this takes.
Oh, but it does. Yeah, I know, but
it does have a great result.
Beautiful.
Yeah, no, it does.
You've done such a great job.
Yeah, and what I like about it is the story behind it.
Yeah.
Because like these guys have an actual story, and like it also, when I hear these guys, right, they sound like some sort of White Scar successor, that sort of thing, right? It sounds like they're interesting. You know, like I hear a lot of, when it comes to Space Marines, it's like, well, my guys are the darkest of the darkest. Yeah.
Everyone likes to go for the what's that term called? Edgy. Edgelord.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like this is actually interesting. Like I like this bit of history.
Sky Jousting, such a cool name. Like, who wins the combat with jump packs on? And that's practical. Like when you're a Space Marine and you got jetpacks is something that you're gonna be using.
But what I also like is it's first to fall is the loser.
Yeah.
So it doesn't so for example, that might mean like deflection, right, has greater value than actual like hitting your enemy.
Like who can you trick into falling like that?
Yeah, stuff like that. So next up, we've got Paul Miller.
It's finally a stage where I can say I'm done. My original bridge was over a lava river. Babs said he wanted a Norse bridge over a river. Originally, there was going to be icebergs either side of the bridge for players to jump onto. After I started, I thought, why not show the old wooden bridge in disrepair? I really enjoyed making this project even though the snow effect sucks and I'm not happy with the land sections on either end. Watched so many YouTube clips on snow terrain. Sadly, not having access to the same materials meant I couldn't get the effect I had envisaged. The icebergs have about 6 different layers before finally settling on what you see here. Definitely not what you'd call a professional diorama, but when viewed as an overall terrain piece, it looks fine.
Alright, okay. Well, I think it looks better than fine because, like, you've obviously put a lot of effort in.
Yeah.
And see, look, unfortunately, some of our projects are going to turn out like this. They're going to turn
out into something that you're not fully proud of.
A learning experience.
Yeah. So, what do you got over there?
These are the icebergs. So, from this side, we can see the ruins of the old wooden bridge beside the new stone bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, so on this side, it's the icebergs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then we've got here. So, I don't think that area of land looks that bad. I don't think it looks like
I guess because it looks like a square, it sort of looks like 2 brownies on the side.
I don't know. I don't mind it.
Yeah.
If you were to if you wanted a quick fix for it, there's a thing called Tamiya mud.
Oh.
Right? And what I would probably do is mix up some Tamiya mud or get some sort of mud thing and just splotch it over those exposed areas to give the idea of actual ground.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that I would do. But, like, I don't think that this looks as bad as you're making it out to be. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah, there's nothing really wrong with it.
Yeah.
I don't think, yeah.
Yeah, so I look at this, it's fine. And the thing is, remember when it comes to gaming pieces, you've got different goals for gaming pieces than you do
with models. Like, your terrain is not really the centerpiece of everything. The models are the one
they should be.
So, like, you don't want your background to be the one that catches everyone's attention.
Yeah.
And I can understand because obviously your background is much larger than your model. People will look at the terrain more than with the model.
But here's the thing that I want to say, right? Don't feel distressed by it. I don't think it's bad. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. It works. It does what it's meant to do. You've created exactly what you intended to make out. I like we can see the directionality of the rear.
Water, yeah.
You know, There's lots of stuff to like about it.
It creates a sense of movement in the piece that it kind of brings you in.
Yeah.
Even if you think you didn't do a great job, I think you've got some elements in there that really bring the viewer's attention to.
So let's do what we think he did well, where we think he can improve. So I think he knows already that he would like to improve with the icebergs.
Yes.
But I think that he's done really well with the wooden bridge.
Yes.
I think he's done well with the flow of the river. I think around this side, I think it's on the other... hold up, is it this side? Yeah. Like, you could make the flow a bit more apparent. But, like, especially around the boards right here, like, I should say not the boards, the pillars.
Okay.
The posts.
Yeah.
Like, the way that you've got the water streaming around them, like, that's absolutely fantastic. I think that the the stones come up really well. I think that, you know, the bridges come up really well. And I like this little island here.
I do think that the snow along the bridge could be improved because it does look a bit sort of splotchy in very specific areas rather than I don't know how to explain it.
But okay, so I would say if you were going to do it like that, like the only thing is because like that is how snow actually melts. Like along the corners is where it tends to not melt.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like, yeah, so...
Alright then.
That is a real thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think you've done well with the stonework, with the bridges, with the water. What do you think he's done well with?
I think, the pretty much everything that you said. I think he's done the land areas quite nicely as well. And the stone affected it comes through very nicely as well.
Yeah. And I think you're not satisfied with your iceberg, so have another go at it at some other time, or just go, all right, that's done.
Yeah, like it works. It works as a game piece for playing practical.
And just make that choice. Just don't vary between them because that's where you're going to get yourself upset. But yeah, I think that you did great work because you came in, you had a plan, you got it done.
Yeah.
All right, so next up, we've got one of our new members.
Alex.
So I had a bit of a tete-a-tete with Alex in the comments, and I basically said, because like he's obviously put a lot of effort into this.
But the color combination, wow.
Yes, the color combination is fantastic.
Absolutely.
But I do believe that is the sort of standard GW color combination for these guys.
Oh, okay. So like follow the box art? Essentially?
Kind of yes, kind of no. So, like, for example, the way that he's darkened areas. But I'll get back to what I was saying. He said that he would like us to judge it like a showcase model rather than a character level. So, the first thing that I wanted to say was, just so you know, when it comes to showcase, this is the kind of pedantic that we're going to be. And so, consider that when we're saying things. So I think that he has absolutely fantastic base work, but this right here, see how he's got that little error thing here, like there's something going on along there.
Yeah, I can see like a bit of a crack situation going on there, yeah.
See, that is something where I believe that judges would mark you down. Okay, and so there is nothing wrong with this base.
Yeah, it like everything is perfect, right? As you can see, but usually the tiny little errors or mistakes is what people tend to catch people's eye. They're not trying to look for mistakes. It just when something looks really good and neat, mistakes are the only thing that people can see in the end. So I think just a little bit of a patch up there will help it.
But this is sort of the difference between. I think that you've done really well with this basing, and if we were talking about character level, we'd be talking about how just fantastic this basing is, right? But if we're talking about showcase, we've got to point out that error because if you were going to show this to a judge, that's something that you'd want to fix as soon as possible.
Yeah, I understand that.
Right? I really like the way that you've integrated the reeds and the stone
of a broken bridge or something.
Yeah. Into some of these more naturalistic elements that you've added yourself, and it doesn't look off. It looks as if everything fits.
Yeah.
Right, you look at that, you look at this, and like it's honestly a lot of the time when you've got that plastic to actual regular textures, things can look very off. So that would be the first thing. All right. So color contrast is fantastic. It is a very readable model.
Very vibrant too. The choice of the purple and the orange and the type of green, especially with the red, it just really catches your eye.
Yeah, so this is more the Shales green than those toxic greens that you always show.
Yeah, and that's like a very nice coral red and a almost like a lavender purple that he's got going on for the beast.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would call it a lavender, because it's a bit too desaturated for lavender.
Lavender is kind of in the desaturated area, a little bit.
Yeah, but it's usually... So this looks lighter than lavender.
Because it does have some level of saturation, because like a lilac would be way too light.
A lilac would.
But yeah, anyway, let's not discuss what color is what.
Yes.
More on the paint job now.
So I think this looks really good, the way that you've darkened the areas.
So yes, so we've been talking about the colors. So I want to take a look at any techniques that you have used here. So I don't believe this is any work of contrast paint or anything like that. But I really like what you've done with the tongue. You've got that definition that has come through. It almost looks like metal. I'm not too sure about the lore behind this piece, so that I can't really tell how this sort of thing is made. The shield is made, so what kind of material it's made from to make that judgment. But this almost looks like a copper metal texture that you've brought out here. And the skin work is really nice, where you've got that nice shading with brown tones on top of the greens. And I think your metal work has come out really nicely as well. I am wondering if you would like to increase that the reflectiveness of your metal with a higher darkness of value along the edges to create that sort of metal look. Not that it doesn't look like metal right now. I do think that it could help create a bit more extra contrast, because as far as we know, with competitions, judges seem to be quite keen on contrast, like whatever pops in your face the most. So that might be something to consider, because I do see that the metal choices that you've gone for are fairly bright on this guy. So you could actually increase the contrast between the most darkest part of the metal and the brightest part of the metal to really create that sort of high reflective metal surface type of look. I love what you've done with this beheaded dude here. The blue tones really help to accentuate. There's a flow along the blue tones that you have used, which is very nice, pleasing to the eye. The visual hierarchy is very well done in this one.
So one of the things that I found really interesting is the interaction of the browns with the greens in here.
Mm-hmm.
The way that he's used that with the face and with the arms.
As a shadowing, yeah.
Yeah. Rather than using like a deeper green.
Yeah.
Or like a black.
Yeah.
I think that looks really good.
It makes it look more like a dirty ogre, whatever this guy is.
Yeah, he's they're the new type of orcs. I forget what hobgoblins. They're the hobgoblins.
Hobgoblins.
But yeah, so I think that the metalwork is really good. But one of the things that I wanted to say about the metalwork is, if you're going for the sort of showcase thing, like the placement of the textures don't quite make sense. See how you've got it all just going around on these bits there, or just in these tiny cracks? They would flow down and around the area. The verdigris would...
Oh, verdigris, yeah.
Yeah, would move about and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Also, if it's something like this, when you've got that bash thing, instead of having that steel, you're going to have a super bright bronze. When you've hit some of these areas, when they've been hit against things and all of their rust and tarnish has come off.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a steel, but a super bright thing. But that can be okay. That can be okay because that's sort of the Games Workshop style. And you got to remember what style are you working in, that sort of thing, right? I think that, like, when you take a look at a lot of this, right? See, the way that you've done the marks within the tongue, right? It's quite stylistic, right? But when you take a look at, for example, that tiny eye in there, just absolute masterwork. And see, this looks more stylized out here. For me, I think that this is an amazing piece. I take a look at it and there's nothing where I go, all right, well, you know, this thing could be that, this thing could be that. The only things that I take a look at are very tiny technical things, right? And I think, like, look, to be honest, a lot of this is better than some of the ways that I paint, you know? So, what is it that you're hoping to achieve? Where are you looking to improve? That's your next step, because, yeah, be conscious of the things that people say, because people will say the obvious things. But then the next step is to assess where you want to grow. So I think that this is really good. When it comes to showcase, as far as we can tell, there's essentially two things. Do you do what the judges want? I.e., like, depending on where you're going to get your stuff judged, like, is it super bright and obvious?
Yeah, like, what are the criteria? Well, I do think you have to follow the criteria because that's just what they're going to judge you off of. It's a rule-based game when it comes to competition. But it's also an opportunity to express your creativeness as well, like certain decisions that you make with the piece. I think judges are also looking at that some of the times. They're looking to be surprised, you know, and I think this is quite lovely in that sense.
I would happily call this showcase level. And like, if this was a commission piece, right, I'd be happy to receive this as a showcase model and show it off to people and have it on top of my PC or whatever, you know,
wherever
whatever
you want to display it.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. All right, so
well done.
I think we've been a bit too granular with our feedback to go, what have you done well, where can you improve? But overall, that basing, beautiful. Color contrast, beautiful. Just those little tiny errors is where you can improve, I would say.
Yeah, just to tie it over.
All right, and here's more of me rattling on and rattle canning along.
Rattle cannon. Yeah, we're just still at the priming stage.
Currently. A whole lot of it is outside, and I ran out of rattle cans, so I had to buy some more, and now I must do more.
Back at it again.
And
a box.
Yes, so Cian has found an old Black Templar kit, a very old one, and that's why he was like, haha, behold, I have discovered a thing.
Start of my Spartan assault tank.
Yes.
Look at these.
Yes.
I actually thought this might have been Cal for a second, because usually he's doing models like this. But yeah, Ron says, Shamblers for my Kings of War forces of nature. Yeah.
Yeah, and
very nicely done with the wood texture.
They are what they are. There's nothing wrong with them. Like, I look at these guys, right? Some nice dry brush texture.
It's got the wood look. Yeah, it's got the wood. The greens of the leaves have come out very nicely. Green of the grass doesn't fight the model. You've got nice little, visual interest with the red leaves or red flowers. I'm not too sure what that is, but it's not like the Salamander's piece where it's just a blob of red. You've got good contrast.
Yeah, exactly.
Going for you in this piece. So this is well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice.
And this is what we're talking about. So, and this is what I like, that we've gone from a very high level piece with Alex to Ron just like smashing stuff out, and that's what Ron's been doing for a while now. He's just been smashing stuff out.
Team and team. Yeah.
Both of those approaches are acceptable. It is okay to just smash stuff out, and it is okay to make a showcase model, and it is okay to be somewhere in between. There is nothing wrong with being any level of painter. All right, so now we've got Cal.
Assembled some demons from Frostgrave box of the same name.
So Sunny hates the Frostgrave models,
but these ones are not bad. I don't like the people. I don't like the people models that Frostgrave comes out with, but I do like the readability of their design. Yeah. It's not too complex that you have to feel like you're fighting a million details.
Yes, you can with GW.
Yeah, you can get very easily demoralized when you have too much detail, and you're like, you want to do those details justice, but you also feel very intimidated by messing it up. And that's what I like about the Frostgrave ones. They don't sort of force you into that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, look at this. Hunters of the Wild for my Forces of Nature.
So I do believe these are just centaurs. Now, so I see these guys jumping out here, and I think this might be one of the biggest issues when it comes to Ron. So you see when it's more of the groups of models together that things start to become confused.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, so these guys are a lot more readable than the salamanders, right? But let's say that we had some sort of distinct visual elements along the base, that sort of thing, in the exterior rather than interior to make them distinguishable, to make them understandable. Don't you think that would be better?
Are you saying that there's too much green in this piece as well?
Yeah, but I mean, like, have some flowers, have
something to break up the visuals.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. Like, this one has a slight amount of the same issue that the salamanders are facing.
Not nearly as bad.
Not nearly as bad, but I do agree. It does need a little something in the base.
Yeah.
But I think you've picked out the details very nicely in these models.
Yeah.
Great contrast with that black horns look. And the green, I'm not sure if it's a metal or what you're going for there, but it's beautiful. I really like it. And the browns have come out really nicely. You can really read every detail on this model.
Yeah, much more than the salamanders. Yeah, I think they're good, but I feel like the base wants stuff on the exterior to make it feel like just
natural.
See like that.
You've got like tufts going in and out.
Yeah,
You've got
some little leaves and stuff.
Red leaves. Yeah, it could use a little bit of something like that. Even if you don't add the red, I think just some tufts would really help it.
Yeah.
It's contrast of kind. But yes.
Now, when he did these ones up, right? And see, I feel like, ironically, these don't want as much as these ones. They don't want the stuff because you just focus on the transparency of the model.
But I do think there is something that he could do to improve the effect of the air elementals.
What's that?
He could have some of these like scattered leaves sort of flying amongst
to
show like that tornado effect.
Oh, okay. That could be interesting. But that could easily go wrong though.
It depends how high you want to bring the leaves into the thing, but I think it's very doable. Just like some leaves pasted along the sides of the model to show they're getting well
sure. I'm gonna say that I like this just as is. Just as is. It's fine. Like, there's lots of things you could do with this, like put a thinned blue contrast plane in there or something like that.
That'll just ruin it, honestly speaking.
But yeah, so next up we've got Cal.
He's got some very nice green models here.
Yeah, we will go in. So some quick paint jobs. One wizard,
Statue and other a water elemental.
Okay, so let's see. I think. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that it's meant to be all metal. So the only thing I'd say on this one is just black rim that. Just black rim that, and like I feel like this would look very nice as a statue.
I do think that for the base, I think the way that the floor is designed, it's supposed to look like carved pavement or stone.
Oh, yeah.
I think you could have really done something with that and gone with like a sand pavement color.
Okay.
And then like do like a brown wash over so that it picks out all of those details instead of everything the same color.
Yeah.
And then the statue can remain exactly as it is. And then you black rim it. I think that's
or
something.
Maybe he wants it like that is the statue. So like that whole piece from rim to top is the statue. So like you put it on top of like some sort of plinth.
Oh, okay.
Right on the board. So like it'll be like, for example, on a granite block or something like that. That could work, yeah. But like actually I think that would work better, but I think as it is just standing there by itself, it's hard to see it. But this water element has come up beautiful.
I love the choices of the dark blues, the teals, the turquoise, and like up to that bright greenish tone. Really looks like the ocean, like swirling in itself, and I think you've got that effect down pat.
Yeah, no, I like it. Like it is
beautiful.
It is just a heavy black wash as far as I can tell in certain areas, but like just because I can tell what it is doesn't mean that it looks bad. And like I like that slight green coming into it. I think that looks really good.
I think pooling is, in this model, is one of the very few times that it works.
Yeah.
Because it is water, pooling gives the like extra sort of water-like look to things, like a watercolor effect. So it works for this.
Yeah,
so it's not too bad.
I think that it's some of Cal's best work.
Yeah.
All right, let us move on. So next up,
we've got Cyan. This was a lot of sub-assembly, but I'm so glad I have got my Helbrecht done. Just need to glaze and shield against the elements and get a new useful box. He doesn't fit in my 5-liter one.
Okie doke. Well, let's take a look at him. So I think he's done, like, in the technical sense, I think that this edge highlighting is some of Cyan's best edge highlighting, but I don't think that the color choice for that edge highlighting is the best. See how it's just sort of desaturated, or more of a tint, I should say, like white added to that color.
I think there's nothing wrong with doing that. I think because it's very stark. But I think it's because it's like at the very tip. I'm sorry, I disagree with you there.
Okay.
Because like it works because it's at the very, very edge.
Yeah.
So it would hit as brightly as it does there.
Yeah.
And it's very thin. So I think he gets away with it with this one.
I think technically it's done very well. But I think like the color could be different.
Just slightly like only 2 shades brighter, you think?
No. I think like a more vibrant red. Like, for example, like a chimera color red.
That's a better one.
Rather than like the white.
It's not necessarily bad, but I do agree with you on that as well.
Yeah, so like I'm not saying that the technique is bad at all. The technique is good, right? And I also like the battered brass look here.
And there's a great level of contrast in this piece.
Yeah.
With that nice sort of orange brass with that nice white cross in the middle. You've really done a great job of picking out the details in this piece. Like your eyes just move to all the little greebles, all the little details on this guy.
Speaking of the same thing, so see how he's got that highlighting there? It's the same highlighting in here. But I wouldn't change that there because like that makes it feel like it's sort of almost a glow effect.
The only thing I will say is that emblem, that cross emblem, what is that called?
Knight Templar cross.
The Knight Templar cross, I think could be worked on a bit more because it seems like it's just black and you've got the
red.
I think it's a bit of a work in process, is it? You're still going to be working on it?
He's finished with this one.
Yeah, that needs work. I think you could do something else to bring that part of the element up front a bit more and clean up on that. But other than that, it looks good.
Yeah, well, I mean...
It's really well done. You're really improving. Really, really improving. It's very well done.
I very, very much like the battered brass. The battered brass has come out a lot. I think that looks really nice. I think the skeletons in here, they seamlessly blend into it, but also they give a tiny bit of extra color with that sand there. So it's not sand, snow. I think that looks good.
I do see there's a quite an obvious pooling in the script, the parchment.
Yeah.
I think that could be improved upon.
Well, I think around here we can see that he's still got some of the thicker edge highlights around the vent there. But I can get why it would be difficult there. But what I will say, is I think technically wise, the fabric has come up very well.
Yes.
Right? I think it's come up really well. The only thing that I question with it is colour choice. I think, in the same way that I think that the brass looks really good, I think that the brass looks really good because of colour choice. I think that this is technically done well, but the colour choice I'm a bit iffy on. I think that it's probably one of your best pieces that you've done thus far, right? You've been improving and improving and improving. Take a look at it that way. Don't beat yourself up, because I know that you're bad for that. And the other thing is that brass, just absolutely fantastic. I love that brass color. It hits all of the right notes. So I think that you've done really well on this one. Technically here, really good. That's where you've done well. Where you could improve, maybe color choice. So more vibrant rather than lighter.
For your highlight. Depending on the thing. Not everything.
Yes.
Everything
you are right.
requires you to go higher in saturation for highlights.
For example, his black there.
Yeah, the black you would go a grey. But this is me being a bit pedantic, but I noticed that this sword is a power sword because I see the node there.
Yeah.
I wonder if you would like to, challenge yourself a bit and paint that up as well.
I think that he has been challenging himself a bit with the fabrics and such, and that battered brass looks really good. There's lots of things that look good. All right, and next up we got you.
Me. Yes,
and she beats herself up about this.
Oh, I hate that. It's ugly. It looks like a child's drawing. Maybe you guys don't maybe you don't feel that way. Other people don't feel that way. I hate that one.
That's why she put it in the first slot. She hates it.
So you can see. But I think I did much better with the rest. The other ones look a bit more nicer. I like number 2 because I did more of that fine detailed drawing on the lamp. And and I did the last one has some sort of watercolor technique going on there where you can see the little patchy splotches at the back. And
all right, so next up we've got
Steven.
So he's doing up some
Battletech miniatures.
Yes. Now I think that a lot of these it's obvious just a contrast over it. There's nothing wrong with contrast, but the pooling around here makes it look very obvious and doesn't make it look as good.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Yeah, the pooling really does take the attention away from the model, unfortunately.
Yeah, you could paint up each section back, but that seems like a real pain.
Extra work, yeah.
Yes. But I would say, for example, I think maybe you're using a very sort of glossy black. Do you think he is for the?
Yeah,
rims?
I can't make sense of what that is over there.
Yeah, what's going on with the bases?
Yeah.
But what I would say is, look, we know that everybody has different goals, and that some people are trying for tabletop. And the biggest thing I would say, right, is if you're going to do something like that with the contrast. What I would do is I would heavily dry brush over that after, so that the pooling isn't so obvious, and so that you've got some level of character to the models without it just looking like what it is. Because remember your audience. You're going to be playing with people who know what contrast paints look like. There's nothing wrong with it. Just know what you're doing and why, because you do have coloured elements which make the models more readable. So just focus on those sorts of things is what I would do.
Yeah. I think for this, I would agree with you on the dry brush. Use a soft makeup brush, something fluffy, because this is all straight planes. They are generally going to be smooth. And look, every medium you use will have two sides of the extremes with how they turn out. If you use too much, it turns out a certain way. If you use too little, it turns out a certain way. And both sides may not make a really good look for your model. That, everything has its balance. So I think for this one, the best way to improve it is to do a little bit of dry brush on top.
Alright, so next up,
I
think I'm done picking the colours. Not hugely sold on the blue. It's different from the other people's. A little blonde hair might put it together. So this is still work in progress as far as I can tell. But a lot of people would be done here. But I'm going to use this as sort of a teaching moment. So Joseph goes for what he says is Tabletop Plus, which in most of the times turns out to be character level. So, for example, with these, all of the parts of the models are currently readable. And that's where you can stop. Where you can stop, but don't necessarily have to with tabletop, right? And so that's sort of the way you should think about it. Like, you can read what each of the pieces are, what each of the things are, even if they don't look perfect. And yes, this is a work in progress, but that's one of the ways that I'd look at doing tabletop. Just try and get those colours in there, and then just be done. Also,
I think the blue is nice.
Oh, the blue is here already.
It's a very nice blue, yeah.
Alright, so next up, we've got Andy. More journeys
to the Middle Earth.
Yes.
Middle Earth.
You've got it right since 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, this time, an elephant. Okay.
Which is really weird because I thought these things were massive, and I take a look at it and it's not nearly as massive.
Wonder what an elephant is.
As far as I know, they're just huge elephants.
But they do look a little bit different to a regular elephant, I guess. It's like if a mammoth and an elephant came together.
I guess. So I think that the skin's looking good. I think that the white's looking good. I'm not too sure what's going on here with the sort of brass and the steel.
Do you think that it needs to be shown more of that metallic texture?
Well, I'm not sure. So I think it is a work in progress. So obviously he's just getting these things done. But also, I see these little pin flags, right? What are those called? The triangle flags?
I do not know. It's just flags.
No, they've got a special name, but I've forgotten it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know that.
But, that makes me feel off by the scale, because you know how the Tibetan flag looks?
Vaguely remember what it looks like.
Oh, we've got to pause, people. And we are back, except there was a slight issue. We paused it.
And then it never recorded.
Which was fantastic. So we are actually doing these last 4 on the next day. That's why we've had a bit of an issue, because it got all done. And
yeah, it was so disappointing. It got all done, and then I was slaving away, doing the thing. I finished it, and wait, hey, hold on. Wait, where's the rest of it? Where's the rest of it?
Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Yeah, so now we're doing it again. So
yes,
here we go.
So that's why there's a delay. Alright, so next up
is Majoracy.
Yes, you were very excited last time you saw his name. You're just like, I think you just like saying his name. All right. So we might be a bit faster now because we
figured out what to talk about.
So we think that the marbling here looks good. We think that it all looks very clean, but that it could use some edge highlighting, right?
On the whites of the wings at the
also,
back, yeah.
We don't know whether this is a good or a bad thing, but we thought these look a lot like lipsticks.
But to be fair, it's kind of very fitting for like Sisters of Battle.
Oh, it's just like this whole thing is freaking ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Like you told me that she plays the organ and that like makes the different weapons go off. And
yeah.
Can you believe like... like as you're going through the battlefield.
Sunny's lost it. But the other thing that was said was...
the torches?
Yeah.
So the whole torch seems to be encased in the color of the fire, where I thought that you could bring that bronze color up to the pyre parts so that it doesn't look like the thing that's containing the fire is also part of the fire.
Yes.
So that was what we mentioned other time. And you were talking about the wings.
Yes, so I think I'll have to go here.
Here we go.
I just feel like we took a look, we zoomed in, and we took a look, and there is some edge highlighting as far as I can see, but like it is just so same.
Subtle? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just... it doesn't look to change things. So, like, wings really benefit from edge highlighting, and if they're more naturalistic, like dry brushing when they're on a smaller scale. Because as it stands, it just sort of looks really odd, you know?
Like too clean or something, or what?
No, it just
doesn't have enough definition.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, what you did right is it's very clean.
It's very clean.
Yes.
Yes.
What you did right is, so you want to go over what we did right, what can be improved?
So what was done well was the marble effect. The painting itself is very clean and neat and tidy. And the only thing we would say to improve is to color the pyres and to give more definition to the wings.
I understand, because I think those pyres are the same colour gold as up here, but I think the reason why we should bring that up is because essentially, like, you're going to have that sort of misconception with how
things are set up, yeah.
With how Sunny saw things and things like that. All right, let us continue. So next up, we had Connor Grew, and do you want to read his thing out, and then we'll talk about, because we spent quite a while on this.
Okay. Hey, saw your fantastic videos online regarding color harmony, thank you, and creating a scheme that works well. And I thought I'd reach out and see if I could get a diagnosis and suggestion on whether my purple/orange/silver gray scheme works. Let me know if there's a better place to discuss or post this. Apologies if the purple doesn't come through well. I'm looking to understand if this fits 2/3 of a triadic approach using secondary colors, or if it doesn't quite vibe. Thanks.
Okay, so we'll just stop here for a second. So first off, this is where we yes, this is 100% the place
to post and do the discussions and the feedbacks.
The second thing was we had a lot of confusion around the 2/3 triadic, but we ultimately decided that, we're not sure that it came through, but triadic means 3.
Yeah.
So you can't have two of
the thirds of it. Yeah.
So what you have actually made is something called an adjacent complementary color scheme.
Yes.
Right? Now the color harmony works with the purple and the orange, right? But it does feel as if it's missing something. So we took a look through. Now, we took a look at this guy, right, and we thought, that looks so good. And we thought that you did really, really well with all the bases. But the other thing we looked at is the way that you do the glow effects, which is just
Spot on.
Spot on.
And it really contrasts well with your choice of the darker metal. But because your purple is also quite dark,
yes.
it just seems like the whole thing is shrouded in shadow.
So one of the things that we were suggesting is going for an actual triadic theme and going for a bright, vibrant green. We're talking Disney villain bright green.
Yeah, if you
right?
just...
So very vibrant, very light.
Yeah, so if you... Just accents of that here and there. It just needs like some green to it.
I think with this guy, right, if just the eyes, if just that area was green, like that would really make it pop, because the thing is, people need to know where to look.
Yes, so that is the principle of visual hierarchy. Visual hierarchy means the flow in which your eye moves along something. What is the thing that you want someone to look at first, and where will the shape or the colors guide the eyes to next? So that is something that you can consider as well. So when you have like just green eyes there, people can see they'll start from the outer parts, which is the biggest, most part, the orange, and then the purple parts, and then the green will be the last thing that they see. And that will just be very nice for everyone to focus on.
Currently, the way that I travel along this miniature was I went I looked along there.
Yeah.
And then I sort of got lost for a moment, come back in here, look in here.
Yeah.
See, whereas the way, if it was green, I'd look here and sort of radiate out.
Yeah.
So we think the bases are excellent. The way you did the plasma is excellent. But for example here, one of the things that we were going to suggest was just these silver detailings. They could be green.
Oh yeah, they could.
Now, basically the reason why we just say the eye, right, is that fits sort of the 60
30-10 rule.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are like, it's not 60-30-10, it's this much of this and this much of this, but it's about just the colour.
Yeah.
Just the colour. It's not, because think of the steel as grey.
Yes, grey or black, essentially.
Yeah, and it's not a colour, it's a shade in this case.
Yes.
Because though you've, there's nothing wrong with the steel, don't worry about that. What we're saying is, this isn't a blue steel.
Yeah, it's just a straight neutral grey steel. So, it's not tinted with any other underlying colours.
Yeah, and if you just had that green there, right? Just that one thing that's green. Because the way that you've been doing the orange, if you did the green the way you've been doing the orange, that'd be fantastic. And, this looked very cool, but see, the issue I had was, when I took a look at it, I thought it looks good, but imagine this, right, and it won't look that characterful because there's not a lot to
focus on, because it's mostly just all dark. And then you've got these, little patches of brightness with the eye and the plasma. So imagine it's like these characters moving through the darkness, all you would see is just the orange bits. Yeah. So he needs a bit more brightening up in the rest of the parts.
He doesn't necessarily need it, but what I'm saying is, right, it's a very, very sort of dark model. And you've got some great contrast here with the orange, right? And there is some purple there, but take a look at it in, say, black and white, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But, and so I looked at some of these things, I liked those gold stripings and that thing, but everything is so dark that it matches in that value.
Yeah.
Nothing comes up like that.
Yeah, so there needs to be contrast in the values as well. This guy reads fairly well.
Yeah.
Just because you've got a good amount of brightness with the orange, it takes up a fair amount of the model itself with that blades. So, and then you've got this sort of
desaturated gold for a lot of his, like a pale gold going on for a lot of his head and the knees and all that. So that creates that lightness of contrast against your darker steels as well. So you can tell that there is more shapes in this model and there's more things going on rather than the previous ones where it just looks like a silhouette with little patches of orange coming through.
So the main thing that I look at, right, is the reason why I was just thinking the eyes, right, is because it also will help with the visual hierarchy, right? Because if they're very bright and very vibrant and everything else is quite dark, your eye, not their eye, will go straight to that head.
Yeah.
Because they're like, look at the bright spot. And then they sort of radiate out from there.
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
But yeah, I want to say, because I am a sucker for good bases, and these bases have been excellent.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bit flat there, but whatever. I don't care about that. Like, I love that lava effect. I love the way that you've used the cork. I think that it looks great. I think that it looks great.
Excellent job on the bases. Especially like that one base where he had the really nice, you can see all the different layers of red and then that one stripe of white that went through.
I know that one. That's the
lava river. This one was my favorite. If like lightsaber was a river, that's what it looked like to me.
But yeah, so I think that pretty much just what we've said, like, because I don't think in a technical sense that you painted anything badly. You know, I think that it all looks good. Just that one thing, mate, imagine if that was green, right? Just your whole eye would go towards that.
Yeah.
Oh, and also we see that you've got just the tissue paper background. So one thing that we'll just suggest, we've got a short from way back when, how to take good miniature pictures.
Pictures, yeah.
I'll find that somewhere.
I think it should be in our shorts folder. We should be able to find it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll comment that on your thing.
But it's still good that you still put like something
the back because often we have just
a bit of trouble trying to comment on some of our members' posts because they've got so many things going on in the background. The camera decides to focus on the background rather than the model.
Yes.
So it's good that you've done what you've done.
So thanks, Connor. What you've done well. Sorry, we do this at the end of each of them.
Yes, you've done well with your current color choice, but it just needs a little bit more contrast.
Well, what I would say is you've done well with your basing. You've done well with your glow effect. You've done well with the painting overall. But where you need to improve is visual hierarchy. So understanding that you can't just have it as all one value because all of your values are quite similar until you come to the orange, which is starkly different, which can be good. But see, the difference between the purple and the steel is almost...
It's not that much different at all. Yeah.
But that's... Yeah, so we hope that helps. All right, next up, we've got Tyrone. So, essentially, once again, we're going to be a bit quicker with this one because we know what we're going to say this time around because we've said it before.
So, we kind of like what the texture has...
We liked the texture
but the color of the blood... You've done this with the previous model as well. It's just off-putting because it's got some white in this red.
So, my suggestion was just... keep it as is. Keep that as is. And then just put a thin coat of blood for the blood god over it.
Yeah.
And you're done. You're done. So the other thing that we wanted to talk about is some of the times it is difficult to work with certain models. Like, take a look at this model. And it's not a good model.
Yeah, like it looks like it's been sculpted poorly. It doesn't have enough definition for you to use your painting skills to bring out these features.
Well, either you have to be very advanced to make a model like this look good, or just suck it up and things are going to be terrible.
Yeah, like sometimes okay, let's just continue.
Yeah, but essentially we think that you did well with this model. trying to give some visual interest to it. We really like your basing. We think that the purple with the ink running down, that's cool. We liked the face, the way that you've done it. But yeah, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. But we also wanted to mention that you've the cloak and the metal armor that you've got, as well as the gloves. That color value is all a little too similar as well.
Yes.
So it needs more contrast in the values. More light parts contrast with dark parts, because now it all kind of looks samey, dark, and mid-tone. So you need more like bright stuff to contrast it.
Yes, but the one thing I did say to this when you said that last time is essentially like, don't spend too long on a model where you're not going to get something out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like some of the times, I remember saying this on the old WAYPN a lot, especially I think Davith put up something and I'm like, look, don't try and fight the model. Like if it's a POS, like some models are good, some models are bad.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is. Yeah. And don't try and beat yourself up for not being good at painting a bad model.
Yes, exactly.
So I think that you've done well with the texture, but we can improve with the color.
Yeah, with the color, just add some blood of the blood god over, and yes, sometimes you're fighting the model, but it's also good to take note of contrast and values as well.
So next up we have
Jason Tate.
Yeah. So Jason, we're going to be a bit quicker than last time because once again we'll just repeat ourselves because we're not sure if he'll just skip straight to his section.
Okay, shall I read it now?
Yeah, we'll just hold up. But we recorded this last night and it didn't come through, so we know what we're going to say about this. So it might seem as if we're going through it, but it's more that we've just thought about it. All right, you want to read out?
Okay. Hi there. I found this group through your color theory and psychology videos. Welcome. As background, I have about 2 years in the hobby, and while I feel I have made slow but constant progress developing techniques, I'm no better than when I started when it comes to color choices. Either I hit a state of analysis paralysis or take the plunge and dislike my final results. To that end, I dislike batch painting armies or squads and instead concentrate more on characters and individual monsters, mainly for D&D and other RPG games. This is my current WIP that I've been tinkering with for about a month. A gray-skinned dwarf, Dugar. Samurai 3D printed sculpt from Durgin Paint Forge. This is only my second attempt at Yes. No.
Oh, yes. You must explain why we do this.
So we have a little inside joke in our group. So if you ever use an acronym and never state the full meaning of the acronym, the full name of the acronym, we make fun of it.
Yes, because some people will come along and they'll be like, what is
this?
NUM? What is NUM?
Or like, what is KDM? And then
yes. What was KDM for a while? It was...
I don't even remember anymore. We didn't even bother for that.
Was it Kill, Death, Maim?
I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, I really don't remember. Yeah, but we used to make fun of those stuff. So we did num-nums. So this is your second attempt at num-nums. My first at gold num-nums. I don't think I've successfully delivered the golden mask, but I'm unsure as to what's wrong. So if anyone can provide suggestions on how to improve it, I'm all ears.
So the thing that we were going to say is this. Essentially, you're highlighting too much. This edge highlight here, that shouldn't exist in with true gold. So take a look at some reference pictures and what you will see is there's just one section that's really bright and then the rest of it's, quite dark.
Quite dark, yeah. So the darkest color that you have here is also too saturated. It's more of a red-brown rather than sort of a grayish yellow. That's how desaturated it has to be, the darkest part of the color. So, and much darker than that as well.
Well, see, I don't think... I disagree. I think that color is fine. What I think is it's your quantities, right? So, like, especially with this edge highlight here, when it comes to non-metallic metal, they're not going to have those edge highlights. Genuine Vision, Stephen, is really fantastic with his non-metallic metals.
Yeah.
He is just an absolute master with it. Look, we are not the best painters here. There are much better painters than us. And there's... and what we want this place to be is a community resource.
Yeah, a resource where you can tap into...
more experienced people.
More experienced people who have been doing the hobby in very different ways, who've experimented with so many different things that they can look at something and go, hey, have you thought about this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So we want to be a group where you can just tap into resources to improve your hobby.
So with the colour scheme, that was one of the things that we said, it's just a classic triadic colour scheme. We really like your rosary beads. This, see how the way you do the blue steel here? That's the way you should be thinking about non-metallic metal.
Yeah.
Like lots of darker areas and then a few moments of brightness.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you should think about it, right? So like in reality there'd probably like be a shine along one side and then a lot of darkness everywhere else.
Yeah.
But also don't just go for pure reality, because when it comes to miniatures, we are creating what we like to call exaggerated reality or hyper reality, because what works in reality and what works at miniature scale are different things.
Yeah, you need to exaggerate certain other features so that it even shows up when you look at it from far.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
But, yes, so we think that colour choice is great. We think that the rosary is great. We think that the blue is good. We liked the sword. We liked the way that you did the white. We liked the way that you did the gloves. Where you could improve, obviously, the thing that you picked out. And we think that everything else you've done thus far has been
excellent.
really good.
Yeah.
And look, don't be too down on yourself because you didn't succeed at one thing. Focus on the fact that everything else looks great. And when it comes to color schemes, that was the other thing that I was going to say, because we said this last time.
Yeah, if you have any
Color Wheel.
Yeah, Adobe Color Wheel. If you ever have trouble with finding color schemes or figuring something works out, just go to Adobe Color Wheel and mess around with the colors there. They even have preset color schemes you could use.
Yeah.
It's your best resource, really. I would have suggested Coolers. Back in the day, it didn't have as much issues with using Coolers. Now they're trying to make it into a paid service, and you can't use the tools the way that you used to back then.
It's, more for me with the color wheel, it's more when you move one of the colors and everything else moves and you're like, oh, I get it now. Yes, I have brain.
Yes.
And,
It just makes it so much easier. You don't have to think about, like, where to put the colors. It just moves the colors for you.
All right, so we're going to do one last refresh and then we're going to start the scroll like we do. So...
Sorry, can we just double check that it's recording?
Yes.
It should be, right?
But we have a new one from Ron Purvis. This is exactly what we were talking about before. So it looks like he has updated that. It's that same one.
Is it the same? It doesn't... It's like the same sort of models, but it's different, it seems.
You know what? You might be right.
Because
like, they're Centaur Bray and the other ones were called Hunters or something. Well, we'll scroll down. But yes, this is exactly what we were talking about, having leaves and that sort of thing in amongst it. You know what? I'm going to have to scroll down now. But yes, so, well, I guess we get this one included on this one. All right. So we're going to say, well, we're going to have a moment of paranoia and we're going to go and check our thing and then we're going to take a look and see if that other one was a work in progress.
I see, it's different.
Yes, it is different. Do the thing. Do that thing with this thing.
No, do the thing that you've currently done with that
That's
thing.
what I'm saying. Do that thing with this thing.
But you don't know which is that thing. You gotta tell him what that thing is. Oh, okay, good.
So do this thing with that thing
with
below. Yes. Yes, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, it just creates the nice level of contrast with the tufts and also that nice little pop of pink that you've got there.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate that you've got different levels of green in this one. You've got like nice emerald greens and then you've got like a nice yellow green in the tunics and things like that.
I think they're just straight up yellow. But
no, they're not. They're yellow green. Yes. Yellow green. Not yellow.
That's yellow.
No, I'm talking about the tunic. See,
Like here.
those little pieces of cloth that they're wearing.
I think that they might be actual leaves.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure, but
well,
anyway,
yeah, it's got different levels of green.
We like this.
Yeah.
This is
This
do
good.
this.
Do good. Yes.
Do this.
Okay. Well,
All
now.
right, now we will do our slow scroll down. So, all right, but first off, what you did well, the basing.
Yeah, basing.
Basing.
Basing good because more things.
Yes, but actually, I don't think that you did anything badly here. I mean, like, they are what they are. He's going for tabletop. So.
Yeah, and it's well painted as well. The technique is well done, as well as the color choices complement each other.
Yeah.
You've got good level of values going on, a good level of contrast going on as well.
Yeah, we really like the basing. You can improve the last one by doing this.
Yeah, just add a few color pops
All
here
right.
and there.
So, as we always do, at the end, we scroll down and say goodbye to everyone.
Thank you for participating this week.
Yes, this one was a really big one when we have so much to
and
do.
I was in the previous recording, I was complaining about how like for weeks you guys didn't post much, and then like on the week when I need a bit of a break, that's when everyone start posting, and I'm like, yeah.
Yes, but look, I think that it's great. I think that it's good. I'm glad to see more people posting.
Yeah.
And
also, thank you for those of you guys who have come from YouTube. We're very glad.
Yeah.
We want more people from YouTube to come.
well, actually, you know, and I'm very thankful for our steady members like Cal, and I think this is one of Cal's best.
But yeah, one of
I really like it.
It's really very nice.
And like, guys, we believe in giving feedback appropriate to you, because like with this bit with Ron, you know, he's just putting up some transparent models because they're air elementals. There is nothing wrong with that, guys.
Yeah, like they're air elementals. You can't see air.
Yes.
Technically, sometimes you don't really need to do any work with some models.
He does need to do some work with the basing.
Just a little bit more pink tops here and there, and it'll fix it.
And it's okay if you're showing your progress. Like Cal shows off, you know, him assembling the minis, you know, doing the whole process.
The gluing or whatever.
Unless you're Davith and you only show
assembly and you don't move on to the painting stage.
Yes.
Yeah, Davith, you still owe me. You still owe
face.
me. Yeah.
One face.
I'm tapping my imaginary watch.
Yes. And we do give people a tiny bit of a hard time here because we want people to improve.
Yeah, and the whole point of WAYPN is for you to have a group of people who will keep you accountable in your hobby.
Yeah.
The whole goal of WAYPN is to, you know, take out the ennui of painting and get you back on the horse with clearing your pile of shame, improving your skill. So if you don't have someone to push you some of the times, you're never going to get it done.
And I feel like it's sort of the sport of painting, because one of the things that we used to study at uni was body image, and girls would have very bad body image. By the way, Alex, you should probably
finish your body image thing before talking about Alex.
It's really good.
Yes.
But one of the things that girls had was when they had poor body image, after they played sport, they felt so much better, because when you see other people moving about, you know, they're like, oh, okay.
You understand
the magazines do not show reality at all. The internet does not show reality at all. You know, those twig legs are not going to help move, you know, a body in motion and help kick a ball and and see what I think this shows. And like, this is what I've really tried to show more recently, is just some of the times it's a slog. It's a real slog with painting. And what I love is that, you know, people like Cal, people like Paul, people like Brandon here, right? They're showing the different levels, right? So Brandon's like, oh, I thought I'd do this one thing, and you're like, oh my god, that's so much effort. But if you saw Brandon's finished product, you'd just be like, oh, I'd never be as good as Brandon.
Yeah, but you show the level of hard work that goes into it with works in progress, which is why work in progress is so important, because you can see all the steps that went into making something, and you then feel, oh, okay.
Also, seeing somebody like James, seeing their growth, because like James sort of came into it, he's unsure about it, and then he's been painting more and more, and he said that he's very happy with it, and he should be. And but also, I think it shows our own issues. Like, for example, me, people have called me out. That's good, it's good. And the thing is that seeing all the work that goes into things, seeing people, for example, we liked the lantern effect.
Yes.
And so Joseph's just like, let's show it.
Yeah, and really appreciate when people put up step by steps as well. That also helps with things.
So that's it from us. And what we wish to do is we wish to say thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for showing off all of your works in progress. Thank you, Facebook, for failing us.
For lagging once again.
Yes. Facebook always fails us. Facebook is the best of the worst options. It's true. If I told people, oh, well, we could do mines, people would be like, yeah, no, we all have mines. And it's like, no, I mean,
And we also wanted to wish everyone a happy Deepavali. Yes.
All right. So, everybody, happy Deepavali, and keep those brushes wet. Bye-bye.